Assigning students, in this lecture I will show you how to find the R square in simple linear regression using the calculator quickly. So here I have given the data of y and x variables, and this is the sample regression function. Y hat equals beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x, where beta 1 hat equals to this formula, and this formula can also be written in the deviation form as sum of x divided by sum of x square, and this is the formula for beta naught hat, and the formula for r square equals the beta 1 hat square into sum of x square divided by sum of y square. Remember that here x and y are in the deviation form, so this sum of x square is the total variation in x, and sum of y square is the total variation in y. So to find the r square, we first need to find the slope coefficient, and then we need to square it. For this purpose, we need to enter the data in our calculator. First of all, you need to clear all the memory so that it does not affect our future results. So for go to mode and then press 3 for regression and 1 for linear regression, and then press and enter the data on x and y variable. First the x value, then press comma, then press 4 m plus to store the first observation. Similarly, second observation for x is 5, then press comma, then 3, then press m plus. Similarly, do the same for all the values of x and y. Now I have entered all the 7 observations in the calculator. First we need to find the slope coefficient. Using the calculator we can find the slope coefficient easily by pressing the shift and then press 2, then go to next, and here you can see that b shows us the slope coefficient. Press 2 and then equal, we get the slope coefficient, which is 0.2788. Since we need its square, we need the square of the slope coefficient, so I square it. I press squared equals, so this is the square of beta 1 hat, which is 0.0777. So I have written this beta 1 hat square, which is 0.0777. Now we need to find the total variation in x and then total variation in y. So remember that the variance formula is variation divided by n minus 1. This is the formula for the sample variance. N minus 1 here shows the degrees of freedom. If we want to solve this equation for the variation, we come to know that variation equals variance multiplied by n minus 1, and we also know that variance is equal to the square of the standard deviation. I have proved it here, that variance is equal to the square of the standard deviation. So now when we multiply the square of standard deviation by the n minus 1, we get the answer of variation. So we get same thing for x variable and for y variable. So to find the total variation in x, we need to multiply the sample standard deviation squared multiply with the n minus 1, and to find the total variation in y, we need sample standard deviation squared of y times the n minus 1. So how to do this in calculator? So first of all, we will find the total variation in x. How to do this? For this purpose, go to shift and then press 2. Then you can see that here the option 3, which shows the sample standard deviation of x. So I press 3. So this is this sample standard deviation of x. I need its square. I need to its square. So press square, and then I need to multiply it with the degrees of freedom, which is n minus 1. Since our n is 7, so 7 minus 1 equals 6. We need to multiply it with 6. So this is the equals. So this 14.8571 is the total variation in x. So I wrote this value here. Next we need the total variation in y. Do the same for y. Go to shift, then go press 2, then go next. Here you can see, here the option 3 shows the sample standard deviation of y. So press 3. We need it squared. We need is square. So press square, then multiply it with the degrees of freedom n minus 1, n is 7, so 7 minus 1 equals 6. So multiply it with 6 equals 28.8571. So now we have found the total variation in x and total variation in y. Then we need to multiply it with the beta 1 hat square. So on dividing these variations and multiply it with the beta 1 hat square, we get the answer 0.04. This is our r square of this model. This r square shows that the 4% variation in y variable is due to x, while 96% variation is unexplained. So this is the quick method to find the r square in the simple linear regression model. Another method is to find the r square directly, because we know that r square is the square of the correlation coefficient between x and y. So we need to find the correlation coefficient. For this purpose, go to shift, press 2, then go to next, and here you can see that here r is the correlation coefficient between x and y. So press 3. So since coefficient of determination is the square of correlation coefficient, so we need to square it, then press equal. We get the same answer, that is 0.04. So you can verify your answer directly by finding the r square in the calculator. Thank you for watching.